Greetings, family, and welcome to another episode of Wake Up Africa. My name is Dr. Mumbi. How you doing? How's everything going? I really do pray, family, that you are well in all your ways and that you're moving into living life very much on your own terms. I mean that from the bottom of my heart because, the agenda is being rolled out. What was once a secret, New World Order agenda is now in plain sight. A lot of us have figured out and have been able to decode the movies to know what is happening in these seasons and times. And the funny thing is, family, they said that in 2023, they would start normalizing, AI technology in everyday life. They would start to put robots everywhere, etc., and kind of start to normalize it. I've seen there's been some massive festivals, I think in Europe, like techno festivals or whatever, where they have these huge robots, and it looks cool, but when you think of the ultimate agenda and where we are, it's actually not that cool. And I haven't covered this on this show, but I think a couple of maybe 3 weeks or a month ago, the head of, I think, Google AI or something, he actually resigned, and he said that there was now an AI race, or there was a race to create the most powerful artificial intelligence, and they were actually losing control of the artificial intelligence. Guys, I've been covering this story for so long. Definitely check out some of the stories I did where I talked about the new god of the New World Order is basically this artificial intelligence that they don't control and that has actually turned on them several times. So I'm not surprised, family, that recently, I think last week, the New York Police Department, they always pick a highlight city that will get the attention of the entire world. And so the NYPD actually launched some high-tech robots, and apparently they're creeping out New Yorkers. One of them was those dogs. Have you ever seen that robotic dog? That looks so scary. It looks like it can just break every bone. And there was some other AI monitoring units. Those look less innocent. But family, they are trying to normalize the New World Order, because for the most part, the New World Order has already been implemented through their narratives. They're just in a tug of war right now to kind of collapse the dollar, go into digital currency. They had planned to do that way ahead, but those plans have been delayed, family. And, so they talk about how some New Yorkers are worried about privacy, and they find these, some robotic devices that are now being used to work alongside human officers to be creepy. And they show, there were these 3 high-tech gadgets that were launched by the head of the NYPD. I think she's a black woman as well. It's very funny how they're using melanated people to push these stories, by the way. And the reason I say this, family, is because we are now in a very, transient phase where you can either choose to be in Babylon or you can choose to be in the real earth, in what I can call the real world. Because Babylon is just rolling out their matrix. And I think it's Putin who came out and said the other day that the entire world has been rendered unconscious by the programming and Western media, to the point where people have been so dumbed down that they're not even thinking correctly. And so they're literally just robots, family. That's the age they want to move us into. And if you do your research into alternative news, you'll see that a lot of the celebrities and all that, family, they've either been cloned, they have doubles, but they're not just normal. I mean, did you see Biden fall the other day? Anyway, those are really not stories for today. But family, the reason I share this is come out of her, family, because they are rolling it. One day it will be all around. They're just doing it piecemeal. One day we'll see armies of these robots, and we've seen there's been these scary videos that have come of hundreds and hundreds of these robots doing push-ups or doing all kinds of crazy things. And for you who have children, stop putting them so much into technology, because already the AI is merging with them from a young age. Know how to balance technology and, and the earthly and nature. Let them be able to know what a real tree looks like, what grass feels like, what the ocean feels like, what a lake feels like, what hiking in a forest or hiking up a mountain feels like. Because the more disconnected they become from nature, the more the artificial intelligence God takes them over. Teach them the truth. Teach them the story, family. Because what's happening is now we've gone into like a dictatorship of narratives. I should do a whole separate show on that. Where it's becoming dangerous to tell the truth. Where like they're literally collapsing the truth, family. So please, 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 make sure that your children are in touch with reality. You don't hear we're in 5D reality, family. I mean, as I was coming here, I'm having to, wait for goats to cross the road, wait for cows to get off the road, donkey carts. We're still very much in touch with nature. Nature is all around. Nature is healing us. Nature is propelling us forward. We're coming into all kinds of spiritual powers. But for you guys who are in the heart of Babylon, eventually the real trees will be replaced by artificial trees. And if you haven't, it's so sad to think that some children won't even know what a real tree looks like. It's crazy, family, because there's parts of Nairobi, and I say this like in any metropolis, it's the same thing. Metropolis. There are people who have never heard the singing of birds. The chirping of birds in the morning, being woken up by a bird or being woken up by a cock. They've never ever heard that, family. So already they're in a totally different reality. Whereas for some of us who grew up in the countryside and the farm and that's our life, like if we go somewhere and we're not hearing birds, there's something wrong with that equation. But those are stories for other days. Family, please come out of her, at least mentally and spiritually. Build yourself up, family, because they're going to roll this out and then they're going to force many who are not prepared to take it. They've already given us plenty of warning about what's coming with the food supply, about what's coming with the money. So just find a way to tap into a different narrative for yourself. A narrative where you're not in flight or fight, because also that's not the way. 5D is about enjoying yourself, full joying yourself. Being in a place of perpetual peace and calm, and that's where you create from. And that's where you manifest your paradise on earth. Until you experience the 3D, family, you'll think all of this is just, you'll think what Babylon is doing is normal. Because they've got so many people in soul traps and mental traps, but those are stories for other days. Family, speaking of narratives, it's been such a journey for Ron Dalton to get Hebrews to Negroes to be screened in South Africa. Monte Casino cancelled last minute. He's facing a lot of opposition from those who don't look like you and I. From the ones who think they're the original ones, family, who are trying to stop it from showing at Soweto Theatre. In fact, he's had several meetings with the Soweto Theatre group. Several Mzungu organizations have complained to the film board about the content, saying it's anti-Semitic and it's anti-this and it's anti-that. So please, if you're in South Africa, family, this is bigger than just Hebrews to Negroes. It's about us, being able to tell our stories. Being able to share our narratives. Because as I said, in the memory lies the future, and that's why we're manifesting the ancient future. That's why the ancient ones had to come back. So June 11th, family, it's still on, hopefully, at Soweto Theatre. They're doing one more review of what he's going to show. There's so much pressure. And it shows you just how powerful the neo-colonial agenda is, because to be honest, a lot of us on the motherland, we wouldn't put up a fight. And the only reason Soweto Theatre is showing it, because they got the same call from the Mzungu that Monte Casino got, but the only reason is because Ron could actually sue them. And they could actually, they could actually lose money. So of course they're not going to, because they've already taken his deposit, they've signed the contract. But it's crazy how much They've made sure that no narrative penetrates Africa except they want of us. You know, I'm even going to do a separate show of how many books are banned in Africa. There's certain books, family, revolutionary books, revolutionary thought books that you cannot purchase. They're illegal in countries like Kenya, Uganda, across Africa. That just shows you how much the narrative is key. And if you've been listening to me for any amount of time, you know, family, it's all about getting into our own narrative. I don't know if we will have time to create a collective narrative that will be able to transform and transfer our people. But what I know is that those of us who have come into who we really are, those of us who call ourselves chosen ones, we are already in our own narrative. And as I said, family, the call has come out that it's no longer time to save anybody. You just have to safeguard yourself because people's minds are too wishy-washy. They're too up and down. And many are too stuck to even know that there's a problem there. Until next time, tuko pamoja.